Hej, siemano wam wszystkim ludzie, z tej strony Arturo, witam was na swoim kanale i kontynuujemy The Excavation of Barrow. Moi drodzy, rozpoczęliśmy dzień drugi. W poprzednim odcinku udało nam się dotrzeć w końcu pod kurhan Hoba. Niestety, nie mogliśmy dostać się do środka z tego względu, że nie mamy pozwolenia od gospodarza na wykopaliska. Takie pozwolenie musimy w jakiś sposób zdobyć. Teoretycznie mieliśmy też jakiś dziwny sen w cudzysłowiu. Dlaczego mówię w cudzysłowiu? Bo tak naprawdę, nie wiadomo czy to był sen, czy to się wydarzyło naprawdę. W każdym bądź razie widzieliśmy jakąś dziwną postać pod kurhan Hoba, która powiedziała, że 25 lat wstecz uratowała naszego ojca. Na dowód tego, że tak było, otrzymaliśmy jego dziennik. Dziennik w wersji fizycznej, który znajdował się pod drzwiami. Tak naprawdę nie wiadomo skąd on się tam wziął. Czy został mi podrzucony, czy faktycznie w jakiś sposób się urzeczywistnił. Nie mam zielonego pojęcia. W każdym bądź razie kontynuujmy, moi drodzy. Spójrzmy, jak wyglądają nasze zadania. Przekonać pana Brydena do wykopalisk, dowiedzieć się więcej o dziwnym dzienniku. Zbadaj miejscowy folklor. No właśnie. Czyli wszystko to, o czym przed chwileczką powiedziałem. Mamy też kamień z dziennika. Z jakąś taką kurą. Wiecie co? Wydaje mi się, że na temat tego kamienia może dowiemy się coś więcej od pana Kowala. Aha, tutaj mamy ojca Roach, z którym już chyba rozmawialiśmy w poprzednim odcinku, z tego co pamiętam.
The blacksmith looks closed.
Kuźnia jest nieczynna.
What do you make of this stone?
I don't recognize the symbol from any Christian iconography. Did you make it yourself?
No, never mind.
No dobra, czyli od księdza na ten temat się nic nie dowiemy. Rozejrzyjmy się po okolicy. No interesuje mnie ta wrona przy tamtej dziurwie. Aha, ja rozumiem, ona chyba te robaki wyjada, które tam były.
Hello? Is anyone home? Mr. Bryden doesn't seem to be here right now. I should come back a bit later.
Czyli wydaje mi się, że pod kurhan Hoba na pewno będziemy mogli pójść, tak? Ale żadnych wykopalisk tutaj dokonać nie możemy. O! Co ciekawe, być może ten kamień, który mam w ekwipunku, w połączeniu z tym kamieniem, coś mi tutaj stworzy.
No, that won't achieve anything useful.
To nic nie da. A szkoda, bo myślałem, że te dwa elementy będę mógł ze sobą połączyć.
I must gain Mr. Bryden's permission to excavate.
Pytanie, gdzie my pana Brydena spotkamy? Stacja kolejowa. Może zaczniemy sobie od początku naszej mapki. Uwaga, stacja w Bewlay jest tymczasowo nieczynna ze względu na uszkodzenie torów pomiędzy Bewlay i Bakewell. Przepraszamy za niedogodności kolejem Midland. O kurde. Czyli żaden pociąg na chwilę obecną tutaj nie przyjedzie. Zapukamy, zobaczymy, czy ktoś mi otworzy.
Bugger off!
Okej.
The unmistakable.
Czyli jestem tutaj niemile widziany. Ale wiecie co? Bo w poprzednim dniu była wycinka drzew. Mówili, że...
Thomasina!
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I am not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye, my head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone slipped this journal under the door of my room.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Well, Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
Co ciekawe, on pamięta ostatnią noc, a my mieliśmy jakieś dziwne, nie wiem, sny. Dziennik.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please go ahead.
The writings of a madman.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Mateczka Mildred.
Who is Mother Mildred?
Some think her a witch.
A witch?
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
No właśnie, tak czy inaczej chciałem się udać do tego lasu i zobaczyć, czy drzewa zostały już wycięte i będę mógł przejść dalej. Kamień.
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
Może pani czarownica mi powie coś więcej na temat tego kamienia. Zeszła noc.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye. I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going on. I really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur.
Stacja kolejowa.
I see the railway station is closed. What happened?
The line is down. Track damage between Bewlay and Bakewell. No trains for a day or more.
Does that mean I'm stranded here?
For the time being, Thomasina.
Capital.
I tak w sumie nie mamy na razie ochoty nigdzie wyjeżdżać. Mateczka Mildred.
Why do people think Mother Mildred is a witch? Just because a woman lives alone in the woods doesn't mean she flies about on a broomstick.
There's more to it than that. They say she lays with demons.
Who are they?
Oh, you know, local folk.
Hogwash.
Some also go to her for potions and spells.
Spells? Come now, Arthur.
Truth be told, she's a nice old lady. I sometimes see her foraging in the brambles around here.
Will she burn at the stake sometime soon?
You might think us backward in Bewlay, Thomasina, but we're not that backward.
Sorry, Arthur. I only meant to tease. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Gierka się zapisała. No dobra, w takim razie złóżmy wizytę tej pani czarownicy. Czyżbyśmy mieli kolejną retrospekcję?
Thomasina, dear, come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time.
But we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise.
Oh, what a dig that shall be.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
Ojciec jechał na wykopaliska i nie chciał zabrać swojej córki. A co jeżeli córka w jakiś sposób się zakradła do niego? Nie wiem, czy oni tam jechali konno, czy samochodem, ale jeżeli ona się w jakiś sposób zakradła do, powiedzmy, jego powozu i przez to mieli wypadek, no, mam nadzieję, że wkrótce się tego dowiemy. Co tak naprawdę się wydarzyło, że ojciec leży w szpitalu i jest tak naprawdę warzywem. No i teraz możemy przejść. Nie ma tutaj żadnych drzew ani żadnych ludzi. Czy ona wygląda jak czarownica? Raczej jak zwykła starsza kobieta.
Please, forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker, given as that's my name.
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met at Bewlay Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to. I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
He was here, in Bewlay.
Oh, yes. A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Mój ojciec.
Why was my father in Bewlay?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow.
You must be jesting.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
Mój ojciec.
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts. Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly, will cure almost any ill. Your father must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother was with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
The journal. This was entered in the journal. It belongs to my father.
What journal?
Dziennik. No właśnie, skoro ta babcia znała naszego ojca i to wszystko było 25 lat temu, czyli wychodzi na to, że no jednak nasz sen mógł być prawdziwy.
Take a look at this. A passage recalls meeting a local wise woman to seek a tincture for his beloved's nausea gravidarum.
Aye, that's me. I made the tincture for him.
This is incredible.
You don't recognise your own father's handwriting?
It's been so many years since I've seen it.
Kamień.
What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
Wykopaliska.
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic.
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man of logic and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again, but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
Po wykopaliskach.
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Who excavated Hobbs Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
No właśnie, ale coś się wydarzyło w tym kurhanie Hobba, że ten dziwny człowiek z moich snów go uratował. Ale co takiego się wydarzyło? Jakiś wypadek? Magia wiążąca.
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
Goblin.
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hobbs Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely.
Trzecia osoba.
Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Leonard Schulder.
Can you tell me anything about Leonard Shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
I see.
Jestem ciekaw, no bo mamy teraz teoretycznie dzień drugi. Gdybyśmy tak się udali pod dom pana Schuldera, może w końcu byśmy go zastali. Lord Panswick.
Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Miss Walker.
Miło mi się z tą babeczką rozmawiało.
I shouldn't enter uninvited.
Ale tak naprawdę, no, wyczerpaliśmy wszystkie tematy.
Miss Bateman,
Yes?
Remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that Barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
We must seek to understand the world by rational means, Miss Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Wszyscy, ale to wszyscy mnie ostrzegają przed tym kurhanem Hobba.
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
No dobra, w takim razie sprawdźmy, czego oczekuje od nas matka.
What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy. Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine. Your father is as strong as an ox, but I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy.
Czyli jednak ojciec spadł z konia, no tak coś podejrzewałem, ale z drugiej strony gdzieś tam wcześniej była mowa, że to jest nasza wina, że ojciec miał wypadek. Nie mam zielonego pojęcia, o co chodzi.
Josephine, it's time to go inside now. Where did Mummy go?
No ciekawie zaczyna się robić, naprawdę ciekawie.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
Znów mieliśmy jakąś dziwną wizję, albo po prostu my sobie to wszystko przypominamy teraz, co działo się w nocy.
Arthur, you won't believe it. The journal belongs to my father. He was here in Bewlay. Arthur? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to remember something.
What is it?
I'm not sure. Something in the woods. It will come back to me. You say your father were in Bewlay?
Yes, Mildred said that he helped Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow 25 years ago.
Well, I'll be. Let's talk about it tonight at the plough.
Jakoś dziwnie się zachowuje ten gościu. Odpowiedz Arturowi o swoim śnie, może usłyszę, co o nim sądzi. Zostaw go w spokoju, porozmawiamy później.
Arthur, I must tell you about the dream I had. I was at Hobbs Barrow and there was a creature. It told me it saved my father from something inside and that I would find proof of this in the morning. Sure enough, when I awoke, the journal was in my room. Mildred confirmed the journal belonged to my father. The creature told me it could help my father again. I mean, it was merely a dream. I don't know what to think anymore. Arthur? Arthur, are you listening? Fine then, we'll talk later. I hope you piece together your memories.
Gościu całkowicie odpłynął. Ale wiecie co? Teraz sobie tak myślę, no bo mimo wszystko ta istota w kurhan Hobba powiedziała, że jest w stanie mi pomóc, żeby wyleczyć naszego ojca. A co jeżeli to jest zasadzka i w jaki sposób ta istota chce nas zwabić do kurhan Hobba? Dobra, może i pomoże naszemu ojcu, ale w zamian to my ucierpimy. No nie wiem, no rozkminiam sobie wszystkie tutaj jakieś wyjścia. O.
Hello, dear.
Good day.
Mężczyzna, który coś maluje.
I believe we've met.
Miss Thomasina Bateman, the famous antiquarian.
My reputation precedes me.
I can assure you it does.
And you are?
James,
O nim.
Are you a painter?
you see this beck before you. Look at the water. See how it tumbles and falls. I seek one spot on which my eyes can rest. Be it a stone or a small corner of the current. I meet it with my gaze, and out of the tumbling and falling, a new land rises. I see a new world.
You certainly have the eloquence of an artist.
Obraz.
What are you painting?
A new world.
Quite the ambition.
Indeed, my ambition knows no bounds.
Can I see it?
Not yet. It's not finished. Such a world is not complete without you in it.
You flatter me, James.
Nonsense. Say you'll let me paint you.
Dlaczego by nie? Z pewnością nie, nawet nie widziałam twojego dzieła. A niech mnie namaluje.
Why not?
Magnificent. You shall be the shining star of my new world.
I don't really have the time now, though. Perhaps later?
Don't fret, my dear. When the time comes, I shall call on thee.
Capital.
Kamień.
What do you make of this stone?
It looks antique. You might want to keep a hold of it.
Kurhan choba.
Do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I'd like to know more about you, Thomasina. At what time do you like to rise in the morning? How do you like your tea? What makes you happy?
Zadaję zbyt wiele pytań, zdecydowanie.
Late, with 3 spoons of sugar and spending time with my husband.
You disappoint me. I sense no truth in your words. Are you a woman of dubious principles, Thomasina?
You ask too many questions.
Leonard Schulder. Tylko wiecie, przez to, że my jesteśmy niemili dla niego, to on może być teraz niemiły dla nas i nie odpowie mi na te pytania.
Do you know Leonard Shoulder?
A man of Bewlay?
Yes.
I care not for the men of Bewlay. Only for the visitors.
Lord Panswick.
What do you know of Lord Panswick?
A fine gentleman. Now that is someone who commands respect.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't think anyone can really claim that. But what a tiring subject. Shall we discuss something a little more exciting?
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
No, powiem tak, dziwny typek, ale teoretycznie każdy w tej wiosce się interesuje moją osobą. Jedni są bardziej wścibscy, inni mniej. Dobra, wydaje mi się, że w kościele nikogo lub niczego nie będzie, aczkolwiek no zerknijmy. No nie. Brak żywej istoty. Dobra, plan jest taki, bo chciałbym teoretycznie iść do domu pana Schuldera i sprawdzić, czy zastanę go w...
Hello?
A my już tą dziewczynkę widzieliśmy kiedyś. I ona też wtedy uciekała.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. Here you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
Czy to nie jest pan Schulder? Powiedz prawdę, wieści szybko się tu rozchodzą.
That's my name.
How marvellous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Heavens! I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We have much to discuss.
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies. You see, I've been bound to me bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful. I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
I'm embarrassed, I really am. I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Marvelous.
I've just learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you will also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this.
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
It would seem so, Mr. Shoulder.
Trochę mi się nie zgadza to, co mówi pan Shoulder, do rzeczywistości. Z tego względu, że kiedy my tutaj przybyliśmy, był wieczór, tak? Artur poszedł do toalety, potem my wyszliśmy, żeby go znaleźć. Wyszliśmy na zewnątrz i chcieliśmy wejść do zaułka. I widzieliśmy pana Shouldera, jak tam stoi. I poszedł na prawo i nagle się rozmył. Więc troszeczkę nie pokrywa mi się to, z czym on mówi, że był przykuty do łóżka i miał gorączkę. Jego listy.
Why did you invite me to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I was a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
Jego listy.
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
Jego listy.
But why do you wish to excavate the barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years, and now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say I am rather eager to find out what's in there myself.
Kurhan Hobba.
I've managed to find Hobbs Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. He'll relent eventually.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh, no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the barrow.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Mój ojciec.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewlay for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
I'm none of the sort.
Albo ten dziadek wie o moim ojcu i nie chce mi powiedzieć. Ale znowu przelatywała tutaj ta wrona. Te ptaki mają tutaj jakieś znaczenie w tej grze. Nie mam zielonego pojęcia jakie, ale wydaje mi się, że one będą tutaj kluczowe. Poprzednie wykopaliska.
What can you tell me about the previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Oh, it was 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewlay were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons. Even Hernwood was sick. Berries went to rot almost as quickly as they grew. Folks started to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry, a panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hobbs Barrow. It was long said that a goblin made his home there. A rumour took root that the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers. In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crops started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Yulee were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand, folk here are a superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villages are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Not at all. However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
So what do you think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man who joined my father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for my liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Do dzisiaj to jest jedna wielka tajemnica. Folklor.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hobbs Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewlay has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
No dobra, może faktycznie w tym kurhanie mieszka goblin i gdy nasz ojciec tam prowadził wykopaliska, naruszyliśmy jego, powiedzmy, prywatę, no i ten goblin się wkurzył i teraz może chce mnie w jakiś sposób zwabić do tamtego miejsca, żeby się zemścić za to? Kolejna rozkmina, która jest dziwna, ale no, zobaczymy.
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Saxnot, he called the creature. I recall one such anecdote, that Saxnot entered Bewlay and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler. However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth. The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr. Shoulder. Has any explanation been offered for why this Saxnot cursed the soil?
Your guess is as good as mine, lass.
Cienkie miejsce.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds, where the flesh meets the spirit world. Just superstition, of course, as you will know.
No ale mimo wszystko goblin powiedział, że chce nam pomóc. Mój sen.
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hobbs Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hobbs Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
Dziennik.
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
Kamień.
What do you make of this strange stone?
A carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts.
Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the plough and furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
How odd.
Can I please have it back?
Here.
Thank you. We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again. See you soon.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed.
No tak jak mówię, no nie pokrywają mi się słowa pana Shouldera z tym, co wydarzyło się tak naprawdę. My go widzieliśmy.
The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard Shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature. What if my dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father? Good day, little one. Hello? What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string.
Przedstaw się.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm.
Ta dziewczynka jest jeszcze bardziej tajemnicza niż całe to miasteczko. O niej.
What are you doing out here all alone on the moors? Do you live here? Would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes? Hey! Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right, bowstring is made from animal hair coated in a waxy resin. The strings don't vibrate without it.
Nie wiem, gdzie miałbym znaleźć zwierzęta, ale być może ta dziewczynka jest jakąś zjawą albo duchem tych wrzosowisk. Dobra, tutaj mamy kury, ale z kury raczej włosa nie wezmę, ale mogę ją pogłaskać.
You're a sweet little thing, aren't you? A carved stone has been affixed to the door. I think it depicts a crescent moon. It's bolted onto the door.
A może kamień, który ja mam w ekwipunku i ten kamień, który tutaj wisi, będą do siebie pasować?
I can't see how that will help me. That is not coming off.
Smyczek. Ale tutaj żadnych zwierząt nie ma.
Mr. Shoulder told me he'd be at the
Pod pługiem i bruzdą, tak? Dobra, nie będę na razie używał mapki, tylko po prostu się przejdę, bo jak sami widzicie, no w różnych lokacjach dzieją się różne dziwne, niestworzone rzeczy. Spotykamy różnych ludzi, a nie chciałbym nikogo pominąć. O, kowal wrócił.
Good day.
Hey up.
Dziennik.
Look at this, Mr. Crozier. It's my father's journal.
Oh, aye? Why are you showing me?
Did you slip it under my door last night?
Ha! Have you gone daft? Why would I have your father's journal?
Never mind. Did the sketches inside mean anything to you?
Looks like a load of rubbish to me.
Ale może będzie wiedział coś więcej na temat tego kamienia.
I found out my father visited Bewlay 25 years ago. William Bateman, perhaps you remember him?
I would have been just a lad. What were you here for?
That's what I intend to find out.
Kamień.
What do you make of this stone?
Don't look like out to me.
Czyli jednak nic o tym nie wie. Folklor.
Are you familiar with any local folklore?
Oh, aye. The old cobbler used to tell me some right stories. Swore he sold a pair of boots to a goblin when he were a young man.
A goblin, you say? I take it this cobbler was a regular at the Plough and Furrow?
Never drank a day in his life. Sober as a judge. Have you been to the Devil's Toe?
Yes, I'm familiar with the cairn.
Some say they've seen the goblin's daughter there, playing her fiddle.
How peculiar. I met a girl near there earlier. She gave me this broken fiddle bow.
Ha! Well, you've experienced the local folklore firsthand then, lass.
Goblin.
Do you know any other stories about this goblin?
I don't have the time to be standing here gossiping about old wives' tales.
Apologies.
Wbity nóż.
I'm having some trouble extricating a knife from a table in the Plough and Furrow. Might I borrow a pair of pliers?
A knife, you say? I can get that out for you.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Crozier.
Think nothing of it. Wait here.
O, coś mi się wydaje, że i jemu nie uda się tego wyjąć.
That were a struggle. Here you are.
A jednak.
Thank you so much.
Saxnot.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. What is it?
Never mind. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
No i świetnie, udało mi się zyskać nóż. Dobra, na szybko jeszcze coś spróbuję zrobić.
That is not coming off.
Czyli w ten sposób tego nie zdejmę.
Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Czyli co, zwiedziliśmy tak naprawdę sobie całą okolicę.
The road disappeared.
Rozejrzeć się po Bewlay i okolicy, przekonać pana Brydena do wykopalisk, zbadać miejscowy folklor, naprawić smyczek. Ale, moi drodzy, ja myślę, że tymi zadankami zajmiemy się już w kolejnym odcinku. Mam nadzieję, że w dniu jutrzejszym, mimo tego, że jest Wigilia, ale i tak pewnie będę miał czas, żeby nagrać dla was odcinek. A tymczasem, moi drodzy, dzięki wielkie za uwagę, trzymajcie się, hej!